Hey y'all, Mike with Cardboard Kingdom. Welcome back to another Disney Lorcana video. Today we're going to talk about the Lorecast that just happened with Richelle and Greg for Disney Lorcana. There's a lot of good news, there's a lot of bad news, some in-between news, whatever. We're going to talk about it, give my take, and I want to get your guys' thoughts as well. I'm usually pretty tuned in to the community, so would love to hear what you guys think as well. We'll start with my biggest. I need to know why they came to this decision. So, for context, if you're not familiar with my channel, I love Disney Lorcana. It has become a massive passion, kind of hobby for me. I day in and day out, I'm either buying cards, adding cards to my collection, changing the way I display my collection, playing the game. I am deeply entrenched. Opening packs with my daughter, like a day doesn't go by that I'm not impacted by Disney Lorcana to some extent. It has become the main way in which I spend my hobby time, right? So I love the game, complete passion about it. Typically, I'm a glass half full kind of guy. Like to remain pretty optimistic. And with the Lorecast today, I was really hoping to get an answer to one specific thing. I knew going into this Lorecast, we weren't going to get any new events in terms of like an actual like date or anything. We weren't gonna walk away with too much, right? They just had Worlds and they just announced the schedule, so a week later they're probably not gonna have like, oh, we have 6 new challenge events for North America. But what I was disappointed about today, what I need an answer for that Rochelle and Greg didn't really have today, is why did they come to the decision of only having 3 events in North America? So it's really not even North America, just America, United States of America, and then in Europe 3 in each, and still capping the player counts at 2,048 on top of the locations. From what I understand from my friends based in EU, locations definitely not ideal. Here in NA, the locations, I live in the Midwest, they're great for me, bad for the majority of the country. And so location wise, not great. And my thought was, okay, well, these events are going to be massive. They're probably going to be like maybe double what they were last year or something, right? Like, and I don't know if that's even possible. That's probably a whole new slew of problems with an event that size. Like, I don't even know if it's feasible. But in my mind, I was thinking, okay, we only have 3 events, but it's going to be a significantly larger size and player pool. And maybe that's why they're in places like Richmond and Milwaukee. Maybe they couldn't get a event size big enough in some of these bigger cities with short notice or something. I don't know. That's just kind of where I went to. Well, come to find out that they are capped at 2,048 for this year. Exact same player pool as last year for challenge events. We just get significantly less. There are 2 core constructed events for season 2, and then there's 1 infinity constructed event for season 2 across all of America, and then 3 in each and across all of Europe. That, to me, as someone who works in the business world, and like when I put my capitalist mind to Disney Lorcana, when I look at it from a business perspective, you have got this just unsatiated demand and desire and need from the people who love your brand and love your game to play it at a high level. People are willing to travel across the world to play this game, right? We had people who played in EU challenge events. They played in NA challenge events. They went to Australia, played in Australia challenge events. We had people go to Japan and play in Japan Grand Prix and things like that. Like, these people are willing to travel the world for this amazing game and this amazing IP that have came together and truly create something special, in my opinion. I don't know where they went from the fact that they sold out in seconds. 6 different challenge events in North America and 4 or 5 in Europe last year. Like, they went on sale, they sold out. Like, it was just like that. 2,048 sold out across the board. They sold, it was just like, as soon as they put it up on the shelves, it was gone. It was like, Pokemon at Target. Team Rocket was waiting, right? The Disney Lorcana fans were ready to play. They have that success. Once again, when I put my business hat on, if I was running Ravensburger, I would say, okay, this is a massive business opportunity for us. Our players love our game and they want to play our game at a high level, and they are willing to travel to come and play the game, hang out with their friends, enjoy the community, right? Like we have a massive success here. So we should amplify that, right? So does that mean we cut our challenge pool in half? Like, that doesn't seem like where you would go from a business perspective. And so, in my mind, I cannot fathom where they came to that decision. On top of the challenges being in weird spots, still capped at 2048, like, I cannot fathom as a business, right? If I put myself in their CEO's shoes, like, I would be telling my team, like, hey, can we fit 10 in? Can we find 10 locations in North America? Can we get up to like 6 in Europe, right? On top of adding Brazil, China, Japan, Australia, etc., right? Add in, get your global growth, right? Add in all these challenges, but in our markets that we started that are incredibly hot, they're scorching hot, right? People want to play the game. I cannot get to a place where I cut that player pool in half. And so, especially for a brand and a company that is this new, company's not this new, a game that is this new, right? In terms of like Ravensburger licensing and operating Lorcana, I can't fathom where they got there. And so I need an answer for that. I need to know why they can't or haven't or didn't anticipate the need for more events. We've already had a massive drought since Seattle. We then had, we had Continentals, then we had Last Chance Qualifier, Continentals, Worlds, right? But those were all months and months apart, right? We're in July. There hasn't been a single challenge event this year. I guess technically the Last Chance Qualifier, but I'm not even counting that because it was kind of off the cuff and it wasn't an official challenge. It was kind of one they just threw together. We haven't really had one all year, and we're not going to have one for another 3 months. You could announce an event tomorrow that's happening in 2 weeks in Kansas City, Missouri, and you could cap it at 2048, and it would sell in seconds, and people would go online and buy tickets. Now, that's not a great way to do it because, people are going to be very mad, not enough time to travel, plan, costs, etc., right? But the fact is that it would sell out immediately. It would sell out. And so you have to be able to satiate that need to a certain extent. Having 3 challenges, only 2 of which are core constructed, for an entire year is not enough. It's more than an entire year. We're talking about if you say we've had none this year, we have Milwaukee, and then we have Indianapolis at the start of next year. Like that's 2 in like a 16-month time frame, like 18 months. That's not enough. And then we have the Infinity Constructed, and then we're into Champs and Worlds or whatever, Continentals and Worlds. Like, that's just not enough, and I need to know why. They didn't answer it, and I feel like the open line of communication that they have is awesome. And the fact that they got on the Lorecast and took it on the chin, they said they want the feedback. They're seeing everything we're saying and posting, etc. I think Richelle and Greg do a great job. And once again, it's not easy to get in front of a camera like that. They were on for 40 minutes, and I mean, they were reading the chat. They were getting beat up. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. They were getting abused. And they took it on the chin and they kept going. And so I give them a massive credit for that. The fact that they have a weekly Lorecast is amazing. Those are all positive signs. And that's why I do have faith in Lorcana long term. And that has not changed. I think when we look back, this will be another bump in the road. But the bumps in the road, it's a rocky road, right? They do some things great, like Fabled. The fact that we're going to have new rarity tiers, that's great. But then we also bring with it rotations, which caused a lot of, fuss. And then we get into Worlds, which, was supposed to be this massive event, the crowning achievement of the first year. It's closed to the public, and it is, it's close to the public. I forgot where else I was going to go with that. Oh, the announcement of the season 2 schedule. I thought that was supposed to be a momentous occasion. World should be open. Thousands and thousands of people are there that love Disney Lorcana, watching the game, playing in side events, buying stuff from the prize wall, interacting with vendors, right? God damn, I don't know. Sometimes I'm I'm not gonna speak out of turn here, but I feel like I could do a really good job with this game. I really do. But nevertheless, the road is very bumpy, bumpier than I anticipated for sure. I don't think Lorcana is going to die. I'm not going anywhere. I'm in it for the long term. But I need to know why they thought it was an okay idea to just cut events in half. Why is that a thing? 2,048 player caps for 3 events is not enough for America, and it's not enough for Europe. Sure, we can go to Brazil and we can go to all these other countries, right? We shouldn't have to. There's a demand for your game right now in your backyard. We need events on the West Coast. We need events on the East Coast. We need events in Canada. Our player base needs taken care of, right? These people love your game. So many, and I do not count myself in this whatsoever, but so many of the like players who create content, places like SSG and Ink Inc. that are hosting tournaments constantly, like the community is like, it's like held up Ravensburger on stilts since like inception, right? And they did a great job getting the competitive season going for season 1 and delivering with that. They did a tremendous job, but like once again, it's just like falling back on the community, and I don't know. I need to know why that they felt that it was okay to cut the amount of people being able to play in half. It just, from a business perspective, once again, if I was just assessing this as a consultant and I did not care about Lorcana at all, and they just brought me in as a third-party consultant to assess their business, I would say, hey, these challenge events are a massive moneymaker for you. Not only is it going to get people to travel to interact with your game, you're collecting entry fees, whatever, the margin on events is probably very small, but the amount of brand like longevity you're building within people traveling to play your game, like that is a very like serious commitment. That is a very emotional thing to do, and that's building a lot of brand credibility, right? And people are going to be around for the long term. The more they're able to do things like that, spend their hobby time traveling the world to play your game or traveling the country to play your game, like that's insane. And so like as a consultant, I'd be like, look, if we need to sell booster boxes, these events are going to be a great way to do so. A, we can sell them there. B, we're going to get people involved with the game. We're going to qualify for worlds. C, this is just going to get us as deeply entrenched in their hobby time and their spare money as possible. Like, there's just no reason why there is not one of these every month, in my opinion, or every 45 days or whatever, right? I get that there would be fatigue at some point. You don't want to overdo it. Once every 2 months or once every 45 days, I think is a perfect cadence. And I want to know why they took this step back. I truly want to know why, because I cannot understand it. I understand they want to link up, they want to sync up with the challenge schedule with rotation, and that the Disney Lorcana season 3, the challenge season 3 will start in 2026, which is nice. So we'll have season 2 and season 3 happening next year. But we need more of season 2. Like we need more of season 2. We've got all these other trading card games that are doing great, like Magic, like One Piece, like Pokemon. We have even things like Star Wars that are doing very well. Yu-Gi-Oh! Somehow doing very well. Games coming out like Riftbound, right? Like there's people are getting pulled in a lot of different directions. And while, I've maintained it from day one, like Disney Lorcana is the only TCG that I will be a part of. It's the only thing that fits my family mold and I can have fun with, while also sharing the experience with my family, right? Like, Lorcana is it for me. If Lorcana dies, I'm gone. Like this, I no longer continue to participate in the TCG ecosystem as a whole. I've never played Magic, no connection to it, no desire for it. New Pokemon, could care less. Not a fan of them at all. Yu-Gi-Oh, reprint the same cards I was using 20 years ago over and over again. I'm good. Can't even read the cards on half of them. One Piece, I'm good on waifus. Star Wars, not for me. Love League of Legends. Played it for over a decade. I would buy a starter deck and play Rip-Out if my friends wanted to, but I've once again, it's like my daughter isn't going to know who Annie is or Jinx is, right? When we're opening it, my wife's not going to know. My son's not going to know, but they know Rapunzel. They know, Woody, Buzz. As we get into Pixar, they know Elsa, right? These are the characters that I want to be interacting with when I spend my time in TCGs. If something were to happen to Lorcana, which it's not, Lorcana's not dying. Been very glass half empty on this video, but know that my long-term trajectory has not changed. Just another bump in the road, but at the end of the day, it is a bump in the road. But if 12 months from now, Lorcana says, hey, we dropped the ball, this is done, whatever, I would cease to exist, and I know a lot of you guys would as well. Now, look, I know a lot of you guys enjoy other TCGs, and that's fine, right? I've no qualms with that whatsoever, right? I want you to be happy and spend your time with what you enjoy. But I want Lorcana to be around. I love Lorcana, right? I've invested a serious amount of money into Lorcana. I played like 3 games of Lorcana today. Absolutely love Lorcana. Want it to succeed, but I just need to know why they thought it was okay to cut the event sizes in half. To end on some good news, they did mention. Well, first of all, once again, shout out to Greg and Richelle for having the weekly Lorecast. That open line of communication is tremendous. Shout out to them for accepting feedback and welcoming feedback. Some people are they're not very nice when they give criticism. And so, they took it on the chin, like I said. So once again, shout out to Greg and Rochelle. All of us, they are the talking heads that get the abuse from the community, but that's not them making this decision, right? So shout out to them. And then they did mention that there is going to be third party. This is the biggest win out of the Lorecast today, without a doubt, is third party support for like getting Continental's spots awarded for winning, like, the Charlie Collectible Card Show event that's happening, the $50,000 event prize pool that's happening. Maybe the winner of that gets an invite for NA championships, or the PPG event that's happening this weekend. It's a massive event. The people that are traveling for that can win an invite to NA championships, NA Continentals. Same goes for EU when big events happen there. Like, that needs to happen, and it needs to happen like soon. And so then that way, for big tournaments on the West Coast, big tournaments in Canada, East Coast, etc., these people can have these big events, and Ravensburger can support them with maybe prize cards, trophy cards, in conjunction with getting, the top spot gets an invite to NA Continentals. Like, that is such an easy way to bridge the gap and make all of this better. Reward the people like SSG, Charlie's Collectible Card Show, Ink Inc., these people who are putting on massive events, PPG, that the community is kind of flocking to, in vain of Ravensburger not delivering like they should. And let's reward them. Let's get people to play in them. Let's get people to travel to them, support them, give them a championship spot, and some prizing support. So that way, it just helps sweeten the pot for the players that want to play the game and that want to compete, right? And this, I know a lot of people that watch my channel are collectors. And if you made it this far, the reason why this is important for us is because we are the drastic, vast minority whenever it comes to the whole pool of Disney Lorcana. There's a chunk that are only players, there's a chunk that are only collectors, and then the bulk do both, but they lean towards the players, right? Probably 75% of the community, if not more, are player focused. As collectors, for Lorcana to succeed and our collections to still have value, etc., they have to keep these players engaged, because that's what moves the market right now for Lorcana is the players. Unfortunately, it's not us collectors. Maybe that time will come, right? I'm continuing to add cards to my collection almost daily. I have no issue with where we're at in terms of prices and acquiring cards, but the players drive the market, and Ravensburger has to keep them involved. They have to keep these people involved as new TCGs come out with massive IPs like Riftbound. Like, look, Riftbound, that's a massive IP. League of Legends is a massive IP. Now, it's nowhere near that of Disney. But things like Arcane was very popular on Netflix. Obviously, League is very popular. But Riot, as a company, and their parent, I can't remember who the parent company is, but they created Valorant. Valorant did very well. I'm more of a CS guy myself, but Valorant did very well. They deliver at a high level for every game they've ever produced. Like, League of Legends, it's still got a competitive scene. We're 15 years into their competitive scene. Like, that's crazy. Like, they just make good games. They do quality stuff. And so I don't know if they outsource Riftbound, if it's being built in-house, but Riftbound's probably going to be pretty good. If it's made by Riot, probably pretty solid. Now, once again, I don't know if it was outsourced or whatever. You guys can correct me, but Lorcana, they just need to get their ducks in a row. These bumps, it's okay to have them, but damn, right? We're bouncing in our chairs. Can we get a solid, just I was so hyped for Fabled, so hyped for Worlds, and then we get Worlds closed, and then getting into DLC Season 2, non-existent. Like, are we gonna lose Pixar at this point? Like, I don't know. That just feels that's a joke. Obviously, they're gonna have Pixar in sets. But here's to Fabled. Here's to Lorcana's long success. I just need to know why what was the business sense for cutting the events in half. I just can't. If PPG and CCS and Ink Inc. and SSG and all these people can get these venues, and obviously Ink Inc. and SSG, they're LGSs, right? So you just have them in their house. But if PPG and CCS and all these people can make these massive events, you're telling me Disney can't get a venue? Like, right? Like, I don't buy it. I do not buy it at all. So that's kind of where I'm at with that. So my thoughts on today's Lorecast. Quick recap, summary. Why did we cut the player base in half for DLC Season 2? I need to know the reason for that. 2, shout out to Greg and Richelle for the open line of communication, for continuing to do the Lorecast. And, that's kind of where we're at. So that is what I'm thinking today. Thank you all for watching. I appreciate you all, and we'll be back with another video soon. Happy 4th of July. Have a great weekend.